Tyler Perry is worth 10 figures. Here's how he spends his billion. Bentleys, Rolls, and Caddies is how one of the richest suits in Hollywood gets around. He used his $1 billion net worth to buy a glacier-white $300,000 Bentley Continental GT Sport Coupe, England's most exclusive supercar. Its 12-cylinder bi-turbo engine comfortably ushers the 6'5" giant around at up to 208 miles per hour in the finest woods, the finest leathers, and the finest veneers available. The bespoke chariot has almost 5 miles of cables inside. I guess he figures good enough for the English royal fam, good enough for the King of Atlanta. Perry also has an Arctica white $245,000 Bentley Bentayga, but it got wrecked when a lady cut across the freeway and caused Perry to T-bone her Honda Accord. This happened in Burbank, California. And luckily, no one was seriously injured. For when he needs to be a cut above automotively, it's an Iguazu blue $350,000 Rolls-Royce Wraith for the super producer. You know, the one with the hiding spirit of ecstasy? Its rear-hinged suicide doors make a big impression at red carpet events, and you can actually close them at the touch of a button. Nice. FYI, YouTube channel CarWow did a drag race between a Wraith and a Continental GT, and the Bentley smoked the Wraith. It's no wonder. The Wraith does 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, and the Continental GT in just 3.6. He also has a taste for the bizarre, as he's pulled up to premieres in a silver $110,000 four-door Finnish American Fisker Karma EVER, which these days you could pick up for under 40 grand. He has a $120,000 Range Rover Sport and a $120,000 Cadillac Escalade, two standards for big-timers. The car he is best known for driving, though, is Medea's gold $17,900 1974 Cadillac DeVille with plastic-covered car seats. Everyone wants to work in movies directed by Tyler Perry, and you can see why when you see the way he treated actress Tiffany Haddish after her performance in Nobody's Fool. He bought her a blue $121,440 Tesla Model X. Usually, rich people buy you a car before you do something for them in return. But Perry has always been a big believer in investing in the underdog. For one, it inspires loyalty, and two, they actually appreciate it. He also occasionally drives a matte black $25,000 Polaris Ranger XP 1000 UTV to peruse his studio lots, and sometimes rides around on a $10,000 four-seater golf cart at just 12 miles an hour, taking his time to take in his life's work. The golf cart is an appropriate means of transport, as the land TPS is built on used to be the golf course that was part of the Fort McPherson Army Base. Perry bought it in 2015 for $30 million and has spent an additional $250 million on renovations and upgrades since. It's a real landmark, having its own highway sign from the 154 North Freeway. Perry helped himself keep his name on the lips of the Hollywood elite by throwing a mega inauguration event to celebrate the studio's opening. He even got Bill and Hillary Clinton to come. He strategically named his 12 sound stages after entertainers who have paved the way for people like him, including Will Smith, Oprah Winfrey, Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, and Whoopi Goldberg, to name a few. Best believe when you call someone you named a studio after, they answer. He flew them all down, celebrated them with $1,000 a minute fireworks, and wined and dined them with champagne and caviar like a true crowned head. The studio has some really impressive sets, like Medea's house, a four-sided mansion which looks like 4 different houses from the outside, depending on which side you're on, and the White House replica he uses to film his BET Plus political drama, The Oval. The show is budgeted at $50 grand an episode. One of the first major movies shot at TPS, Black Panther, a $200 million blockbuster that took in $1.344 billion worldwide at the box office, making it proportionally even more profitable than Perry's bread and butter Medea franchise. The 11 Medea movies were distributed by studio juggernaut Lionsgate, and the 12th by Netflix. Each film cost roughly $20 million to make, and have collectively raked in $1 billion in ticket sales alone. That's $800 million in profit. Tyler Perry's A Medea Homecoming had a $20 million budget and has been a huge success so far on Netflix. The latest installment from the character Perry has spent over 20 years playing has streamed for over 31,560,000 hours since its February 25, 2022 release, almost double the amount of watch time than any other of the streaming service's top 10 English titles. This proves Medea has come a long way and has a long way to go. It's also estimated that about $60 million of Perry's billion comes from his stake in the premium streaming service BET+. Perry is planning for a concert theater, potentially seating up to 3,000 to be built in the near future on his lot. Tyler cut his teeth in the theater, having written his first play, I Know I've Been Changed, and spent his life savings putting it on. No one showed up to the gospel musical's premiere in 1992, but he kept at it. He lived out of his car, not a bad idea in the Georgia weather, but still, and fine-tuned the production and found ways to market it. 6 years later, the play toured for 2 years from 1998 to 2000. The profits went into his play I Can Do Bad All By Myself, where his larger-than-life character Medea was born. This propulsed Perry to his first major successes, as after 25 stage plays, he's taken in $100 million in ticket sales, $20 million in merch sales, and $30 million in video sales from taped performances. This was all before his first feature film in 2006, Medea's Family Reunion, which was budgeted at $6 million. Currently on the lot is the Post Theater, the fictional theater from the $3.4 million an episode AMC series The Walking Dead. They've even had a tiger on that stage. Most of the $1 billion The Walking Dead franchise is shot on the TPS lot. The lot itself generates an estimated $907 million in revenue a year and has been a huge contributor to Atlanta's booming economy. Forget a class. Tyler Perry needs his own plane. A $125 million Embraer Lineage 1000 business jet to be exact. His 19-seater has a customized theater on board with special lighting, Blu-ray players, satellite TV, and electronically controlled cool mood window shades, earning this plane the nickname of Flying Theater. The actor's plane also has a formal dining room, a modern kitchen, and a private VIP room. The Brazilian luxury jet gets Tyler to movie premieres across oceans on non-stop flights at a cruising speed of 543 miles an hour. The Embraer costs $2.8 to $3.5 million yearly to operate, so best believe Tyler won't stop making Medea movies anytime soon. This jet holds a special place in entertainment history as well, as it was used as a flying hearse to transport Whitney Houston's body from the Beverly Hilton Hotel in Beverly Hills to her birthplace of Newark, New Jersey. He also used the jet to fly water and other necessities to the Bahamas in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian in September 2019. More on his generosity later. Tyler used his own $12 million Gulfstream 5 plane, which he sold to Kenneth Copeland Ministries for cash, which they are using to help transport spiritual leaders to spread the gospel all over the world. It sure beats a donkey. The New Orleans-born ATLian hangs his main hat in a sprawling mansion near his 330-acre Tyler Perry Studios factory in Fulton County, Georgia. It's at the end of a peach tree-enshrouded winding road and has a short airstrip and a private jet hangar if you're coming in by plane. It took him 3 years to help design the 35,000 square foot estate. That's only 20,000 square feet less than the White House, by the way. The vast 1,200 acre property will be turned into an organic farm, as he wants his son to have a true appreciation for the land, nature, and animals. He plans to have horses like a true billionaire. Gotta have a home next to Tinseltown. The tycoon has an $18 million Beverly Hills mansion on Blue Jay Way he bought in 2004 for a measly $4.3 million. The 25,000 square foot, 8-bedroom, 12-bath estate pad came with a 3-car garage, billiards room, home fitness center, wine cellar, and disco room. For his LA parties, he accommodates his guests' exotic vehicles with a 30-car motor court. His most famous guests, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Remember when Perry's BFF Oprah interviewed them in that magnificently manicured backyard? He lives next to the prestigious Mulholland Estates, so he's just around the corner from Kendall Jenner, Christina Aguilera, DJ Khaled, Paris Hilton, Big Sean, and Charlie Sheen. Perry's a little bit of a house flipper. A bit of a side hustle, I guess. He bought a Beverly Hills home in August 2017 for $14.5 million and sold it to Pharrell Williams a few months later for $15.6 million. It's now worth $17 million, so both men made money. He also lived at the majestic $8 million Belle Abri on 4110 Paces Road, a 35,000-plus square foot mansion in Atlanta, complete with acres upon acres of maze gardens and angelic statues, a 70,000-gallon infinity edge pool, an underground ballroom, and an emperor-sized wine cellar. He sold it in 2016 to televangelist Dave Turner for $17.5 million, and in mid-2018, it sold again for $15 million to Steve Harvey. That was ATL's highest-listed house at the time. Directly adjacent to Georgia's Chattahoochee River, Perry has another $7.6 million mansion, Dean's Garden, which was once the largest res in Georgia, and currently has a list price of $40 million. Wow! This guy really has an eye for deals. The 32,000 square foot Alabama Road home in Johns Creek sits on top of a 58-acre property. Its carriage house is 10,000 square feet, to give you an idea. The neoclassical main house has 8 bedrooms themed in all kinds of ways: Moroccan, Egyptian, Oriental, and French, to name a few. The interior's most remarkable feature? Its Venetian Brunelli Cathedral-inspired 3.5-story high rotunda with skylight in the grand salon. My favorite feature is the 1950s Coca-Cola-themed game room. Just outside is an 18-hole par 72 golf course, conservatory, amphitheater, and wedding chapel that sits on a man-made lake. The massive estate costs $1.5 million a year to run and has an estate manager's cottage, caretaker's house, and greenkeeper's house to keep adequate space for the property's in-house employees. Perry once told Architectural Digest, "I love architecture from the bottom of my heart. If I wasn't in this business, I would want to be a great architect." Moguls need several mansions. That's why Perry owns Avec Chateau, a $4 million, 16,000 square foot mansion in Fairburn. The master suite is the size of a fairly large home at 4,000 square feet. The property has 2 prayer gardens for the devout Christian filmmaker, tennis courts, and an amphitheater. Like a medieval castle, the front foyer is guarded by a life-sized knight in shining armor. The front driveway winds around a large fountain, greenery, and tall gates for privacy. He cites his Savior as his reason for buying such opulent homes, to show the people how God blessed him and elevated him from poverty. Tragically, Tyler Perry's stepfather abused him his entire childhood, and at 16 years of age, he had his first name legally changed from Emmett to Tyler to distance himself from his stepdad. He miraculously turned his misfortune into a powerhouse of a career. Perry has a home in a most unexpected place, Wyoming. We're estimating his Jackson Hole log cabin to be worth around $1 million. The Hollywood Walk of Famer sits and writes in Wyoming while the local moose comes by and eats his chairs. He has more writing to do than most of us mere mortals can imagine. Up to now, he's written more than 1,200 episodes of television. It's been worth his while, as presently Viacom CBS pays him $150 million a year for new content, needing a minimum of 90 episodes every year until 2025. Slap that Tyler Perry name before the title, and there's sure to be an attentive audience for it. This is putting him on track to be a multi-billionaire by the time his 60th birthday rolls around. There's something about big creatives and Wyoming getaways. Kanye West has 2 ranches out there, the $14.5 million Bighorn Mountain Ranch in Graybull and the $11 million Monster Lake Ranch in Cody. Perry's other vacation home is a 14,000 square foot mansion in decadent Bali style in the Bahamas, on which he's also commissioned a spa, guest bungalows, and a marina. That vacay spot sits on one of the 2 Bahamian islands he owns. He bought the 25-acre White Bay Cay and the 7-acre Exuma Cays in 2009 for his 40th birthday. The islands were listed for $7 million, but the final sales price remains unknown. Oh boy, he sure treats himself pretty good, huh? His island-owning neighbors are Johnny Depp, Magic Man David Copperfield, Tim McGraw, and Faith Hill. Work hard, play hard. While many of us would be lucky to celebrate our birthdays with a $30 seafarer's feast at Red Lobster, for Tyler Perry's 51st birthday, he chartered a yacht. A 1-week yacht charter from the Georgia shores would run you about $100K a week. Tyler paid the cost to be the boss, and also paid $17,000 for this supercharged Yamaha FX SVHO Waverunner. The luxury watercraft has a Bluetooth infotainment system, integrated audio speakers, and blazes across the water at up to 67 miles per hour. The magnate treats himself to some other sweet vacation spots all around the globe, like Greece, Singapore, Australia, Fiji, South Africa, and French Polynesia, keeping it tropical. For morning exercise, he uses a $4,500 Schiller Aquatic exercise bike. Hey, he is single now as he and longtime girlfriend, Jalila Bakaili, called it quits. Gotta get ripped for that new chapter of love. It's not all flash and excess. Sometimes he just spends a few dollars for an internal journey. His bookshelf includes Cicely Thompson's $24 Just As I Am, Bakari Sellers' $29 My Vanishing Country, a memoir, T.D. Jakes' $29 spiritual book Crushing, and Ta-Nehisi Coates' $33 The Water Dancer. Tyler Perry is an Oscar winner. He received the Jean Hershow Humanitarian Award at the 93rd Academy Awards for his outstanding contributions to those less financially fortunate. He's given $100,000 to the Legal Defense Fund for Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. In 2009, Tyler Perry sent 65 children from a daycare to an all-expense-paid trip to Walt Disney World when they were not allowed to return to a suburban Philadelphia swim club. Once he got wind of the story, he pulled out his black card and must have charged upwards of $200,000 to make that happen, showing how he felt about the civil rights violation. In July 2020, he gifted approximately $50,000 in grocery store gift cards to those who needed help. He also runs the Perry Foundation, which helps with areas like education, human rights, and health, among others. He personally gave $1 million to the NAACP in 2009 to commemorate the organization's centennial, another $1 million in 2010 to the survivors of the earthquake in Haiti, and $1 million to various religious groups in and around Houston, Texas in 2017, following Hurricane Harvey's devastation. What's next for a man who's exceeded his own expectations? I mean, his first TV show, House of Pain, was bought by the CW. TBS saw the massive ratings and snatched House of Pain up from the CW for $200 million, from which Perry pocketed an estimated $138 million. More gains on the Medea franchise are just around the corner for him, that's for sure. He owns the rights to all of them. We know no one else will ever play the iconic role once he's gone. It won't be a mantle. After his new Georgia mansion is complete, maybe he'll buy the most expensive home in the U.S., the $295 million, 105,000 square foot mega mansion. The LA Hilltop property, called The One, has a 4-lane bowling alley, a candy room, subterranean 50-car garage, Playboy cigar lounge, juice bar, and retro-style salon. It makes Jack Warner's $195 million Hollywood castle Jeff Bezos now owns look like a fancy pool house in comparison. And buying that property would cement Perry's legacy as the great entertainment business conqueror, although he'd probably sell it in a few months to LeBron James at a profit, knowing him. The cornerstone of Perry's earning power? Ownership. He owns the rights to a lot of his work, characters, shows, plays, and movies, and his studios help him make the capital gains necessary to move into the exclusive 10-figure net worth entertainer club, along with Stephen Spielberg, George Lucas, Oprah Winfrey, and John de Mol. In his own words, "While you're fighting for a seat at the table, I'll be down in Atlanta building my own."